Cor-Ten is a trademark name. It was developed in the early part of the 20th century as a structural steel. This is called weathering steel, is kind of a general term for these alloy steels that are made for their corrosion resistance.
We recently did a project and we used a lot of Cor-Ten steel in that project. So using the Cor-Ten in the planter boxes, which is where we had started, then we carried that material out through other elements in the project. I like Cor-Ten for a couple of reasons. One is the thin profile. When you have a small space, the Cor-Ten is nice to use for planter boxes because you get more volume, basically, of planting, and the color. The juxtaposition of the green of the plants that are going into the beds and then the orange, rusty tone of the Cor-Ten itself. The longevity is the other part of it. So a steel planter box is going to last you a lot longer than a wood box.
Cor-Ten, as it oxidizes, that rusting layer actually serves to protect the material. In other types of steel, the rust doesn't. When we get the material, it's in large, flat sheets, and depending on the design details, we either take the sheets, cut them to the size parts we need, weld them, we can mechanically fasten it, so with hardware, screws, bolts, etc. And it can also be formed. For instance, when we're making planter boxes, there are different details we can do.
We tend to give two options, either the straight edge or a beveled edge. And so the beveled edge is a rounded corner, and that provides a different structural stability to it. And it also ensures that you're not going to scrape yourself on the edges of the planter. So if you have kids, a beveled edge is going to be a better option for you. We mostly make them bottomless. If you're putting it onto a paved surface, you might want to put a bottom on it so that you're not seeing all the water and the soil coming out of it, spilling out of it. Bottomless is better when you are putting the box directly onto soil, because that way the roots of the plants aren't confined in any way. I tend to like them to be about 20 inches high. I would say a good width is 3 feet. The length can vary. With the width of 3 feet, you're able to reach into the middle of the bed still, so you can access all the plants. Cor-Ten does rust.
In the early stages, it can rub off on you, and it can also stain the surrounding environment. As it ages over time, that rust layer becomes more stable, and there's less opportunity for it to be rubbing off.
Cost, if you look at it over the lifespan, is probably going to be roughly equivalent to another material that you might use, like wood.
Maybe a 30-inch by 5 foot by 2 feet deep box might cost between $1,500 and $1,800. There are fewer suppliers for it, so it might be something that, depending on where you live, you may have to have shipped in from, a long way away.
Most often, we weld and prefabricate the planters here in the shop, but there is the option as well of getting a kit of parts where you could bolt it together on site. And that's something that you might consider when you have difficult conditions in getting to your backyard, such as like a small entryway or steep stairs. I think a lot of people like the look of Cor-Tens, and it's something different from what people are used to seeing.
For us, it's a really versatile material. We look at it basically without limitation.
Because of the natural tone to it or feel, it can work itself into almost any environment.
I like the idea that we can take this flat piece of steel and turn it into whatever we can imagine.